Live there, live here, but we need more lights. Much better. Good Sunday. I've lost all sense of time today. Um, it hasn't been a great day for the following reasons. My favorite thing to do on Sunday mornings is to watch the three networks uh, broadcast the news of that week, the headlines of that week, because they always have commentary and panels, and I really enjoy listening to that. Uh, I go to my first one, NBC, interrupted by the British Open, of all things. Uh, NBC is big on that. If there's a major sporting event, they will, in my market, anyways, they will opt for the sporting event. The heck with the morning news shows, Sunday morning news shows. So then I got to thinking about some golf stuff, and I I used to be a golfer, or I tried anyways, and it goes back as a teenager. I learned how to play the game, and uh, actually, it reminded me of, of my fondest memory of playing golf in Canton, Ohio, my hometown. I was good friends with the most famous person to ever come out of my high school, a gentleman by the name of Thurman Munson. And I was friendly with Thurman because his girlfriend and my girlfriend were best friends. So that's how we got together back in 1967. Well, it must have been the early. It must have been the fall of '68, uh, and Thurman and I were challenged to play uh, golf against two guys who were on the golf team, and of course, uh, with Thurman's athletic prowess, every every coach in every sport was after Thurman, but there's only so much he could have done, and wow, my golf story with Thurman, it had nothing to do with me being there because the concept was, wow, we're playing golf with Thurman Munson, because I didn't contribute much to the day except some funny stories about all those guys. But a whole 17 Edgewood golf course in Canton. It comes Thurman's uh, time to drive 340-yard par four hole. Thurman let loose with certainly would have been a home run in Yankee Stadium, but it was a 340-yard drive, hole high. He was hole high, and I'll obviously never forget that one. Uh, I was so in awe. I don't think I was able to play out that hole at all. I don't even remember. But that was the golf part of my day, which is never a part of my Sunday. So that crept into the picture today. Uh, Earlier this week, or a couple days ago, I don't remember, I received an email that, of course, um, would get my attention because it is from the Brian Tracy organization, and Brian Tracy himself has always been my number one mentor in terms of business concepts, small business concept, the idea of small business, and truly, and this is where he stands out better than anybody. He's also a very respected life coach. So he has combined those two disciplines and has published more than 75 books in God knows how many languages, at least 50 languages, millions and millions of books all over the world. Well, the email subject today was how to write a book, the ultimate guide. And I thought I was going to have some fun reading the email because I actually wrote and published the book and wrote chapter 23 in a book that Brian Tracy was involved with in a project. And that was before I met him. And I had an opportunity through this whole concept to actually go one-on-one with Brian for 45 minutes. And I actually had to go to my triple self-portrait collection, and I actually created a triple self-portrait. This is the book that I was involved with him, and I wrote chapter 23 in the book. This is obviously a picture of Brian and myself. I don't know where this was, an unplanned 45 minutes, absolutely unplanned, and there happened to be. And this goes back to 2011. There had to be a photographer right there, and boom, the magic moment. Well, this is the triple self-portrait piece that I created for Brian, thanking him for being my mentor. There's caricatures, well, my caricature that you've seen. I had his caricature made as a part of this whole thing. It was a great event. It was a great event. And after speaking with Brian for 45 minutes, of course, I asked him to sign and date my book. And his comment to me after those 45 minutes was, "David, you can do it. There are no limits." So when my main mentor in life says there are no limits, important to take a look at it. And then too, when I went to the book, this project that I was involved with Brian was it was a multifaceted project that was put together by a brilliant marketing agency, brand agency, DNA in Orlando, Florida. Nick Nanton. I met Nick and we hit it off right away, and I got involved in what he did. And I spent a lot of money with Nick in 2010, 11, and 12. But part of this book was guaranteed to be a bestseller in an organization called the National Academy of Best-Selling Authors. Part of the project, and there's David Leopold up in that row, and a certificate, and truly a great moment in my life, and it started to really move me in the direction that I want to move. Of course, I had to do things myself, but it was actually a great motivating force for me to then do some things that I've been involved with in the last 11 years. Uh, what else? That's about it for Bright. Then I started to think about the book that I actually uh, published, wrote, published, edited, distributed. Uh, how do you answer these 749 questions about your small business? And it was a beautiful, intense, actually 100-day period that I put the book together. So many people were saying to me, Dave, you got to write a book, da, 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 da. And I left a Monday morning coffee with a friend, and she said, David, you need to go home and write a book finally. So I went home that day and started to work. And why 749 questions? It's a great story why there's 749 questions. As I was doing my 10 minutes of research to find out what other books had been published in this space, to see where I needed to go with mine, I came across a book, not exactly these words, how do you answer these 400 questions about your business, but they gave answers to the questions. That was the intent of the book. My intent was never to give the answers. My intent was to create a workbook kind of thing where a small business owner, a student, somebody that was an entrepreneur, whomever, would think about. I had 5 different chapters important to small business, and I left white space so that if they read it, and it sounded like something they should be thinking about for their own business. Uh, Write it down and make a note and put a phone number down there. What do you have to do to get an answer to that question to see if it is meaningful to what it is you are trying to do with your business? Uh, so I just arbitrarily made the decision, if that author can come up with 400 questions, I'm going to come up with 800 questions. So there actually were 800 questions that I came up with. And so why did only 749 of them get published back then? And it had to be very, very early in digital printing. This year was 2007, so that was 15 years ago. I would come up. What is that? That's a house finch. Is there a finch loose in my house? Uh, I would actually put the question on a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and 6 or 7 other bits of information that were needed to get the end product that we wanted to get. And I did it. I entered it, and he pushed the button, and pages came out. Well, with 800 questions, it became an odd number to get an efficient, the right number of pages for printing. Uh, Printing traditionally is done in multiples. A lot of even know what it's done. Well, it can be done in a multiple of 1 today. I know that for a fact. But back in the day, uh, when you would think of pages, you would think of a printer doing 4 pages at one time or 8 pages at one time. And if you had a lot of pages and a lot of volume, 16 pages at one time. So as he did what was needed to do to get the format of the book, there were an odd number of pages, so we had to cut down the page number to make an efficient number of pages as far as printing goes. So that's how we got to the numbers 749. It was it was great times. I actually had met my printer Jack Russett from Zanesville, Ohio. He and I don't know, probably 5 years earlier, served together on the Ohio Governor's Small Business Advisory Council. And that was, I think, like 2003 or 2004, whatever. It was for a 3-year period. Jack and I became good friends. So at the time that I needed a printer, Jack was going to be my printer. And I actually had to drive, well, I'm in Cincinnati, he's in Zanesville, so 150 or more miles to his shop, his office, but it was worth every single mile that I drove. And I guess that kind of takes us to, you've heard me talk about the last couple months, my living ebook, my legacy story. A 73 entrepreneurial journey as a publisher producer, providing marketing and sales strategies. That's what I do. That's what I have been doing for most of my life, for all my adult life, out of college. And I knew that I was encouraged to write the book by a friend. Once again, David, you need to write a book. But I told Janet that I was going to do it digitally. I was not interested in going to the printed book, and I've already had that adventure, and I wanted something different. So I went out and I found some digital technology so that I can enter typing into it. Because videos, as you know, are a very important part of how I communicate. I needed a format where I could include videos. And actually, when I first started, about 30 days after I was doing it, they came up with a major improvement to their system that allowed me to put an HTML address on a link on their pages so that I could direct the reader probably to YouTube servers, because all the things that I do in that environment are produced on YouTube, and I can pull that URL and put it in a lot of places, do a lot of things with it. So there was also a third aspect of what I wanted to do in the storytelling. About 3 years ago, I saw some technology that goes back longer than that. It was presented to me 3 years ago, and I was fascinated by it, even subscribed to it, and never used it because I was too busy doing other things, but the fascination was still there. 5 months ago, I rebought a subscription and have yet to complete a full story, but it will be part of my living ebook. It's living because it keeps on going. It doesn't stop. And every week I will be adding to the work that we're doing. And I said, well, geez, we have to add another element to the concept, and that is a weekly email where I can send updates, hot links to new writing, new videos, new doodlies, whatever. So that essentially now folks are not buying a book. They are buying a lifetime subscription. The price that you pay today is lifetime. You'll be amazed at the lifetime price. Actually, if you're really interested, you can go to mylegacystory.site. Mylegacystory.site. It's all there. The information is there. And you can even, there's even an opportunity at the bottom of the main, just beneath the fold, there's an opportunity to send me a message, and I am the only one that will read whatever it is that you send. And if I am online and I get a proper notification that one of those have come through, within 10 minutes, you will get a response. My commitment. So, I don't know if, I guess we got on this track today because, I got on this track today because of this email that Brian had sent. And if you have any desire whatsoever to write a book, I highly, highly recommend you read this blog and dig into it, and the links that are there, and even make a purchase. Nobody knows the process better than Brian. That is, he shares with you why he has been the world's most successful author that he has been. And one of the things that this is what I was scrolling down and learning what I've done wrong all these years. What I'm doing wrong now. Brian comes up with 4 questions of 4 answers. His 4 answers, reasons why you should write your first book. Maybe they change after that. Okay, number 1, writing a book provides a great opportunity to share something meaningful with you, the reader. Number 2, writing a book is a way to help others improve their lives. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your book, your writing has to bring value into somebody's life, whatever that value might be, or they're not going to spend time reading your book, period. Great point, Brian. Writing a book is one of the best ways to gain lasting credibility. And I have taken it one step further, and I want to leave, and not want to, I am leaving a large digital footprint so that my children and grandchildren can read and see what makes me no, they won't figure that out. Yeah, they'll come close. My daughter-in-law, Sarah, is actually the most consistent reader and viewer of information that I publish in Facebook. Absolutely, she's the most consistent. And it's kind of, well, we've had some really interesting things that have happened just last week. Something happened, and 3 generations were seeing pictures of my grandson, of Sarah's sons, and of Grandma Barbara's great-grandsons. And within the hour, we had all posted these pictures on our Facebook page. That was 3 generations posted the same picture. That is truly, it was a wonderful experience. And then two, I noticed my son Sam read something uh, that I wrote the other day. He didn't comment on it, but he read it. Well, maybe he did kind of comment on it because the day after he posted or he read what it is, he called me up and like we're taking up where we had left off. So who knows? Who knows? Uh, I wanted to share also too something that I am getting great use of, and I just created this, and this is a way for me to visualize what it is when we come up with the different project ideas that we come up with. So I create an individual, and these are 4 different projects. I create questions and flow charts and how is something going to look. And I'm telling you, if you do multitasking, I've never been very good at all at multitasking, but this really helps me develop a perspective on it. So I highly recommend that approach. Then to another uh, email that caught my eye was one that I've shared with you. I shared it with you probably 6, 8 weeks ago, so it must have worked. That's why they're bringing it out again to create some noise within their organization. But it was from the National Institute of Health, and I have followed them uh, for a long time. Well, it's probably 10 years now, anyways. When I started to do to facilitate senior exercise, I started. This is one of my sources of information, and just a couple months ago they came out with this. I bought the last time not buy the last time they came out with a book like this. I got it, and it was extremely valuable. So I was able to order some additional copies. And if you are a senior, and you don't have to be, if you're looking for some motivation of why you should spend time uh, every day exercising, uh, and you follow the book, you will get the proper motivation that you need. But I'd like to take it one step further, and I'm going to try to figure this out. Um, there's got to be a solution. I believe that senior exercise, um, I can speak for this 73-year-old, that it has to be tailored to me and me alone. So what I am doing is because there are areas that I need to work on, and you know what my areas are. They're um, cardiovascular, which actually I'm very blessed that I've worked hard on it for a lot of years, so I don't have to work as hard on it now. I do. I don't work as hard, but uh, when you do the muscle strength exercising that your body needs to do every day, um, you'll be toning muscles. That is an important part of what is. I have, because of a traumatic brain injury that I had in 2008, January, um, I it absolutely affected my sense of balance and also my depth perception. I have no more depth perception. It's amazing, and so I have to I have to work hard to not bump my head on a cabinet or whatever, Ned, whatever. So Oh, wow, and the last one that I have, and I it's extremely important to me, and it works. It works. Is skeletal alignment, keeping your skeleton in as much alignment as you possibly can, because you will find if you do those things where there's arthritis and 73-year-old bones get arthritis. Matter of fact, I had a doctor tell me about 3 years ago, I had an x ray taken for whatever, and he told me that I have a huge amount of arthritis in my body. And I said, well, I don't feel it. Thank God I don't feel that I have it. And he said to me, the reason that you don't is because of exercise. He said that to me 3 years ago. And well, what happens is you can isolate what it is that you need to do. You can do it from a standing position, you can do it from a seated position. And I think a must is to have the dance music from whenever it is that you are listening to dance music in your life. Uh, I do it. I do it every day. I do it every day, and just do what you need to do. If you need to have resistance in your muscle training, uh, I have a 10-pound weight that I work with, but I am always moving and dancing, either seated or standing. Trust me, it really works. So I have about, I think I have 4 books available. Get Fit for Life, National Institute for Aging, Exercise and Physical Activity for Healthy Aging. If you want a copy of the book, the the first 4 people that messenger me, I guess will be the easiest unless you have more direct contact. Um, let's keep it that way. That way I can track it. Messenger me in Facebook, your address, and if you send me your address, I will even pick up shipping and handling of the book, so there is no cost to you. It would be my pleasure to to get that book into 4 more hands, 4 more houses. It's good information, and it's things that we really truly need to be thinking about on a daily basis. But that's your time, your day. Figure out when it works best for you. And the final thought of the day: it is important to do what you love and love what you do. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you the next time.